kids across our area are heading back to the classroom in some capacity. For most kids, it will be a fun time, but for some, it will be very stressful and overwhelming. Clinical psychologist Dr. Sharon Saline is here now to offer some guidance for the parents to make the transition easier for our kids. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, Patrick. How are you today?
I'm excellent. You know, I'm sure there are a bunch of kids who just cannot wait to get out of home, go back to school, and be with their friends and their teachers and into a normal routine. But this is going to be a little bit different, right?
Yes, and I think as life opens up, it's going to be natural for people to feel nervous. And for anxious children and teens, these changes can be especially disconcerting. So I created 4 tips to help make this transition smoother as we open up.
All right, Sharon, let's go through them. What's number one?
Number one, expect that things will be different. Whether it's wearing masks on the playground, plastic shields around the desk, mandatory distancing in the cafeteria, school will be different than what kids were accustomed to. And so for students entering new buildings for the first time, like if you've never actually been in the high school where you're supposed to be, they may not know their way around the school. Anxious kids in general struggle with adapting to unknown and unfamiliar situations. So we want to set up a time for these kids to visit their classroom or take a tour of the building so they understand how things will look that first day, which will lower their anxiety in anticipation of starting school.
You know, I think for the kids that are starting a new school, you know, whether it's, the middle school kids, new middle school from elementary or new high school from middle school, so as parents, you need to sort of create a plan or a safety net, correct?
Exactly. That's my number 2 tip, to create a safety net. Many students remain concerned about getting the virus or transmitting it to family members or other people in their lives. So we want to provide your child or teen with hand sanitizer and a couple of masks in their backpack where they know where they are. And then we want to go over safety precautions once again. How far do you need to stay apart? What are the conditions to keep yourself safe? Make sure your student knows what to do and who to talk to at school if he or she feels uncomfortable with how someone's treating the COVID rules. And review the current facts about COVID from the CDC for additional help.
Now, Dr. Saline, just the kid interaction, kids with each other and kids and teachers, is going to be vastly different from what the kids have been experiencing at home. What should parents be doing?
Absolutely, there's a huge difference. So we want to teach kids and remind them about how to navigate the social scene. Your student has probably not been around a group of peers consistently for quite a while. They might be worried about saying or doing something embarrassing or feel insecure about starting conversations. There's an awkwardness, or there may be an awkwardness to social interactions that hasn't been there before. So we want to brainstorm options of what to say when meeting new people or seeing old friends. Discuss what to do if tricky situations, especially with friends who might be less cautious about COVID, come up. Practice some of these conversations at home if necessary.
Now, Dr. Saline, your last tip is something called wonder instead of worry. What do you mean by that?
Well, we all worry. And the thing is, the flip side of the energy of worrying is actually excitement. So, what I want to do is help children and teens shift from worry to wonder. Explore their expectations, both positive and negative, and talk about the issues surrounding going back to school. Avoid reassurance, oh, you'll be fine, don't, or dismissal, it's really not such a big deal, don't worry about it. These kinds of statements make anxiety worse. Instead, we want to nurture curiosity and intelligence and resilience. Shift the perspective from worrying about what might happen to curiosity about the future and information that will help arm kids with the facts that they need to make themselves feel secure. Recall times in the past when maybe they've been courageous, and how can we link those experiences to what's going on right now? Because right now does require courage as we step into a life that we used to have with all of these strange circumstances and confinements around it.
Some simple steps parents can take, 4 simple steps parents can take to make their child's transition from home learning back to school easier. Dr. Sharon Saline, thank you so much for sharing those.
Thank you so much for having me, Patrick, and have a great day.